LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
817 at K-Fire Guns in the 701. So if 4 kids and a pregnant mom get abducted, that tells me somebody should have, would have been nice to have somebody carrying something to defend themselves. I realize you don't want to have kids getting around it, but...
Yeah, that was, breaking news just happening, I see.
Yeah, Brainerd, Minnesota, a woman, a pregnant woman and her 4 kids were taken at gunpoint. Oh. Now, they've got the guy, so thank God. But here we go again, just one more of those stories that make you think, we need more people ready to defend.
Oh, absolutely. And we know Minnesota has an actual... You can actually get a concealed carry permit. It's not like out here in North or South Dakota, but you are able to get one. But it sounds like to me it might even be a domestic dispute when a guy with taking a kid, 2 kids and a lady. I don't know.
I'll take this wrong. I hope it was because I would hope it wouldn't. At least there'd be an explanation, not a valid reason, mind you, but at least an explanation of it's
Yeah, and if it is random, that's even worse.
Right, that's what I mean. I mean, if it's one of those random things where somebody just decides, I'm going to take you.
It's a great reason. And, when people always ask me, "Why do you carry? What are you afraid of?" I'm afraid of nothing because I carry.
The suspect is also accused of fatally shooting a man and burning down a home.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
So too bad she wasn't carrying. She could have eliminated it. Sounds like
that's just it.
And made the world a whole lot better.
That's just it. I realize you don't want them around the kids. I get that. The victim's a 62-year-old guy. He's got 7 felony convictions in Minnesota. Time for a 3 strikes and you're out. The most recent being threats of violence against an ex-girlfriend. An ex-girlfriend doesn't necessarily say it's this one, but but anyway, so just crazy.
It kind of shows. I know that we weren't going to talk about that, but let's talk about it. It shows exactly why gun laws that go against people like you and me who are legal carriers or can be legal possession of a firearm don't do any good when the criminals themselves break the law every time. I mean, this guy had a bunch of felonies. He's not supposed to even have a gun, and he had a gun. It just shows that gun control laws don't work, which Minnesota has quite a few, and they haven't all been ushered in under walls, but he's asked for more and more every time he gets a chance. But it's just another great example. A, be prepared, get yourself trained, be caring so you can do the right thing, and why gun control laws do not work, because they only infringe upon those of us who follow the law to begin with.
Yeah, because if you've got 7 felonies, you're not the person going, oh, so I'm not supposed to have this anymore. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Here you go. All yours. I don't think it works like that.
No, doesn't even cross a person's mind, a criminal.
No.
Because by definition, they're a criminal because, that's right, they break the law.
I know you weren't planning on talking about that this morning, but it was just breaking, and I thought, man, how do we not? Because here's the classic poster reason to have a Second Amendment and defend and be trained and all that stuff, because then you don't have 5 kids getting abducted, 4 kids and one that's, not born yet.
Yeah.
Still 5 kids, right? I would like to be able to stop that abduction, by your boyfriend or not, but whatever. All right, I procrastinated long enough. The other good reason to talk about that first is that just kept me from having to talk about Kamala Harris. But she better hope, rather, that guns are not a factor in the election. But wait a minute, she has a gun.
Oh, yeah. Well, she says she never ever showed anybody that gun, but hey,
it's a stapling gun. That's why she hasn't shown us. It's a glue gun.
I bet she can handle it as good as old Tim Walls over there, her running mate, handled his shotgun. Oh. Yeah,
if there's any doubt in your mind that you can't do something, don't get cocky and tell everybody you can do it, and then watch me. Just admit it. Just say, I don't know. I think I can, but that would be better.
And now they're trying to kind of whitewash that from what the mainstream media is. I mean, that just disappeared. That whole narrative disappeared. He isn't talking about that even much himself anymore.
You wonder why.
Can't imagine why. I mean, it surely did not help his reputation anywhere. And, I don't know if Minnesota's in play or not. I imagine Minnesota will still go Democrat. If they don't, I'm trying to think the last time Minnesota probably went for a Republican candidate. I think that had to be Reagan.
You got to flip the Metro. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, Metro St. Cloud goes pretty heavy.
That's part of the Metro now.
Too. Oh, okay.
Let's face it. Don't believe me, drive 94 for a while. It's part of the Metro. It's a suburb now.
And, you're right. It's some urban areas. Those heavy urban areas are what does it, and they got the worst problems. And yet they call for more of the same, which does no good. It's a circle of failure is what it is. Anyway, with Harris, it's no better. As we've seen, she's out there. She wanted some of the most restrictive gun laws, and she did try to did get some in when she was in San Francisco. I mean, she was literally out there, and I saw that interview in 2019 where she was calling for mandatory. I get a kick out of this. This is just a stupid term anyway. Mandatory buyback gun program, and she wanted them all. She was almost as bad as Dianne Feinstein saying, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
Like you'd get them all.
No, you'd never
come on.
It would never happen.
There's going to be one, and maybe it's in North Dakota or Montana would be my guess, but or Idaho, where the last person with one is definitely not going to give it up. You're going to have to shoot them dead. Because otherwise they're going to be defending themselves. As well they should be.
Not just that, Todd. Think about the guys. It isn't going to be these politicians, these leftist communists like Kamala going out there. They're going to put the orders and send the orders down the chain of command, which means it's going to end up being local law enforcement. I don't think in our area, I mean, there are some out there that think like this, as I've met them, even in the Dakotas. But as a whole, most of our police officers and highway patrolmen, and even, the sheriff's departments are not going to go door to door asking, hey, we need to confiscate your gun, because A, they know there's people like us out here, And they're not going to put their life in danger because that's what they would be doing, and nor should they, because it's unconstitutional.
If you're voting for a sheriff right about now, you give them the Inquisition. How would you act?
Right.
President Harris. I know, right?
Yeah.
I think look, I try to maintain objectivity, okay? I try to, keep an open mind and realize there are people but I'm having a hard time with that one.
Oh,
her because of the southern border and him because of Lake Street in Minneapolis, but that's just me.
You would. You'd bring California and Minnesota policy to the White House and to the nation.
Let's emulate those two states.
Yeah, that'd be devastating.
That's what we need. Oh, hey,
and I can tell you right now, though, if you're voting for a sheriff right now, and this was always my litmus test when I would meet candidates for sheriff in our area, I'd flat out ask them, "Are you willing to die if a gun confiscation rule came down from the feds?" And, it would take them back a little bit going, well, I mean, you could just, they've never been asked that. And almost, sometimes I'd be asked, is that a serious question? I said, absolutely it is, because I need to know where your Second Amendment
Hey, frankly, in that job, that could happen anyway.
And they're like, well, I actually had one. He told me, he says, well, would you really shoot me if I came to your house to confiscate? I said, wouldn't even lose a sleep over it, because it's unconstitutional. I'll defend myself and my rights. That's what it was written for, to defend ourselves from that kind of thing happening. And if your sheriff can't answer it, no, I will not enforce that, then you need to vote for somebody else or run yourself next time.
I would hope that we would not. Well, the candidates can always lie their butts off. A politician lying? No.
Never happened.
When we come back, we just had the story of a pregnant woman and 4 kids abducted in Brainerd. They got the guy. We just had that story. Now, none other than Governor Walz protecting kids more important than Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, there you go.
Coming up, plays on the way. It's Guns in the 701 on K-Fire 827. 845 at K-Fire Guns in the 701. Plays with me here. So, had this story on earlier this hour about how in Brainerd, 4 kids and a pregnant mom were kidnapped. They've got the guy now. So ironically, one of the things we were going to be talking about anyway, Governor Walz and protecting kids more important than Second Amendment rights.
Yeah, he was on the Daily Show, and that's all I'm going to say about that. That's just a waste of a show anyway. But he was on there, and he was suggesting that there was this huge, stark difference between urban and rural people, right, and their attitude towards gun ownership. And when you watch the interview, which is excruciating pain, by the way, just when you got to watch crap like that, it sucks. But I needed to know what the guy actually was saying. And he said that he argued that, and they got this pretty much right, and Colin Knorr is the one who wrote this, basically saying that he argued rural gun culture emphasizes hunting and sport, which differs significantly from urban areas where violence in schools is a major concern. And he advocated then, again, on that show, he wants red flag laws, extreme risk protection orders, that's working out well, and restrictions on certain firearms to protect the children. And he even went on then to say that essentially that the rights of us are not valid over the rights and the protection of children. So if you're going to protect the children, that means your constitutional rights basically don't matter. They're void. They'll be trumped by the need to protect. I mean, that's basically what he said. That's where he comes from. That's his ideology, and it's completely asinine.
I got a way you could really twist the whole argument. When does the protecting the children actually start? Because that brings up a whole nother can of worms. But
yes, it does.
But
isn't that something?
It's pouring gasoline on the I know, right?
That's a great point you bring up. They want to protect them when they get to the school, I guess, and it's okay when they're, I don't know, they enter school at 5 years old in kindergarten. We'll just go K through 12. Then, by golly, it doesn't matter And Hillary Clinton even said if it saves one life, we got to do it. But if it's before that, any time before that, not so much, right?
I mean, we're living in a world where surveys of college kids have, and I'm not saying it's happened around here. I hope to God it hasn't. They've actually said that, because the question was at what point should you no longer allow abortion?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
kids are saying that weeks after birth. Now,
I know.
Now, wherever you decide to draw the line, I think after birth it's no longer an abortion. It's happened. I mean, to abort is to stop a process.
Yeah, when someone
it happened. You know.
You know, and with my Christian belief, I believe life starts at conception. So for me, yeah, it's murder, right? But let's just put that out, throw that aside, and say, when you're actually born, when you come out of the womb and you're actually breathing air on your own, and they still believe, and some do believe, that you should still be able to possibly abort then, as long as the umbilical cord, I've actually heard people say this, is attached. It's still a fetus. No, that for sure is murder.
Oh,
and it's just, yeah.
I'd love to get a few lawyers on to argue that one. That would be a heck of a show.
That was an interview done in California when we were working on that whole issue, and it amazes me the insanity that the other side has on that issue.
Can you imagine me reaching out to Planned Parenthood to be on K-Fire? Hey, we want you guys to argue a point here. And
I would love.
They do it. They'd be eaten alive, but they do it. Oh, man. 849 Guns to the 701. It's Clay here on K-Fire 550. I'm Todd Mitchell. Gun control, not the winning issue Tennessee Democratic Senate candidate thought it was. Well, then what was it? What happened there?
Well, I don't know. I suppose because Tennessee is, it pretty much leans to the right side of things, center right sometimes. But do you remember that little thing after the Covenant school shooting when these three people, the Tennessee three, went onto the floor and disrupted the whole session?
Oh, gosh, yes.
One of them was Gloria Johnson. And I guess she must have thought that must have made a bigger impact. Of course, liberals generally do. They think that their ideas are the only ones that are out there, and nobody else should dictate or say anything to them. Well, she thought she'd go ahead and try and run for the Senate seat. Well, that didn't work out so good the way it's sounding. She thought she could go in there and beat the person based on the gun thing. And let's just face it, Marsha Blackburn, she's the one who holds that seat now for the U.S. Senate. You ain't going to beat her in Tennessee. You're just not going to. She actually won against a Democrat governor who was running against her 6 years ago, and she beat her by like 9 points. So, and he wasn't near as crazy as this woman. So I imagine she's going to go down. And they're right. I was looking for some more polling. The best polling I've seen was anywhere from a 15 to 25 point lead for Marsha Blackburn over Johnson. So the idea that gun control was the winning issue in Tennessee and that they had it now because, we made our big statement. Well, in your little world and your crazy head as a liberal, you probably thought you made this huge statement, and all you really did when you look at a bigger state picture is, guess what? Most people in Tennessee obviously don't agree with her. They don't want red flag laws. They don't want more gun control, and they're not going to send you to the U.S. Senate. It kind of reminds me, Todd, of North Dakota when I hear these crazy deals come out of Fargo. And people who live there never really leave very often. A lot of them are transplants from the Twin Cities. They think the world is theirs. They think whatever they're doing, the rest of the state must love it too. And then they find out when they run for a state office, not so much.
Good point.
I mean, it's just they live in their own little world. They really do. And they think that nothing can change that course and that they can win based on these insane ideas, not recognized. And I think that's what you're seeing even in the national campaign right now. Trump, who's been out there with the people, right? I mean, he's been campaigning, let's face it, he's been campaigning since 2016, and he never quit. But he can relate to these people, where the other side, take a Walz, even Walz does not relate to the normal person, versus Kelly Armstrong, who's running now, relates to the general person in the state of North Dakota. He's a likable guy. He's fun. Talk to him off camera. I'm telling you, he's a great guy. And he's a normal guy. But you got Tim Walz. He can't relate to the normal person. He has no clue. Kamala Harris can't relate to the normal person. Well, it's the same thing in Tennessee here. This person doesn't relate to the normal person, and she's going to pay the price on Tuesday. I mean, she's going to, I feel, looking at what they were doing there, I think she's going to get trounced pretty easily by 20 points. So
I was hoping to get to this North Carolina story because I used to live out there, and I remember that area well, and thinking, well, the protective order failed to stop him, but her 38 did the job.
Yeah, she had a 380. She didn't put up with it. Protection order was put on. He tried to break into her house. She told him to leave. I think the kids were woke up. He basically refused to, and guess what? She went ahead and she protected herself with her Second Amendment and dropped a 380 shell, a bullet right into him. And North Carolina has a great castle doctrine law.
Oh, no doubt.
So,
and not only did that take care of getting him out of the way, but she got to skip target practice that night. She already
that's right.
proved that she didn't need to go. She just, I just got 5 out of 5 here. I'm fine.
Think about this. This guy, his name was Bush. He had been convicted of selling cocaine, driving under the influence, was wearing an ankle monitor at the time. He had several felonies. When you went and looked at his record, he has a rap sheet a mile long. So, those protection orders are working really good, aren't they?
Yeah. It's a piece of paper, people.
Piece of paper, and criminals ignore it. They just always do. So good for her, and she's not. The case has been closed. No charges filed. She eliminated another scumbag who was intent on doing harm, and the world's a better place for her actions.
Jacksonville, North Carolina, you got Camp Lejeune and all that stuff there, and yeah, you're going to find some people with some defense mechanisms. We'll just call them defense mechanisms.
There you go.
That way they're people that don't like the word gun don't get all squeamish. Play Guns in the 701 on Fridays here on K-Fire. Wednesdays online?
Yep, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mount, 8 p.m. Central. We'll be on Dakota Morning here, the first Monday of the month. We'll be with Mike here coming up on Monday. And then, of course, Jamie and I going to be joining Kelly and the crew at his election campaign headquarters there on election night. We're going to try to do some live broadcasting and election updates.
I was invited, but I'm going to be here, but Kelly's going to call in. We've got a time set up for Kelly to call in and give his victory speech. Or
there you go.
That's got to be a victory speech.
Maybe Jamie and I have to call in and just BS with you once in a while.
Yeah, hey, we'll be here. We'll be
live,
here. All right.
All right,
Clay, you have a great weekend.
Yep.
Take care.